Welcome to the deep dive.
Right.
We take your source material, cut through the noise, and get straight to the knowledge you need.
That's right.
Today, we're looking at something that sounds simple but isn't. Potting mix. Specifically, the economics behind it.
Exactly. It's a mix of, well, agricultural chemistry and commerce. We're diving into Notes on Gardening, part 677, to see how the pros optimize their mixes using local stuff to save money.
Right, so our mission here is to kind of shortcut the info on what's really in commercial mixes beyond the label and understand those pro strategies nurseries use to boost their profits.
Precisely. And for you listening, whether you're planning a big garden project or maybe you're just curious how nurseries make money on cheap plants, this is key.
We want to help you skip the marketing speak and really get down to the basic materials.
The foundational stuff that drives the costs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get into it. The big goal for a commercial grower is a decent medium that costs next to nothing to make. Our sources suggest you can pretty much look at a bag of commercial mix and figure out the main parts just based on what's cheap and easy to get globally. So what are these core things?
Well, what's really interesting is how universal these cost-cutting tactics are. The source points to 4 key things, easily available, that form the backbone of a basic general-purpose mix.
Okay, what are they?
So first, you've got your main ingredient, the bulk material, just standard garden soil. That's the weight, the structure.
Standard garden soil. Got it.
Then you add 3 specific things, rice husk, red soil, and coco coir. And the real clever part is why these 3. They're substitutes for much pricier materials.
Okay, let's focus on that substitution idea, because that seems crucial for the economics. Rice husk, for example. What expensive thing is that replacing?
Right. Rice husk is basically the cheap version of perlite or vermiculite.
Ah, those little white specks you often see.
Exactly. Those are volcanic rock, treated, lightweight, great for aeration, but, they need mining, processing, shipping, expensive.
Right.
Rice husk does the same thing. Its structure stops the soil compacting, lets air get to the roots. But it's often a local byproduct, much, much cheaper. No big shipping costs.
Pure agricultural economics, really.
Okay.
Okay, what about red soil? That sounds specific. It's not just any dirt.
No, it's chosen carefully. Red soil, generally speaking, means soils with a lot of oxidized iron, often clay-based. It does 2 things.
Okay.
Structurally, the clay helps bind the mix a bit, improves porosity. And nutritionally, that iron is a great micronutrient boost. Helps with chlorophyll, makes plants look nice and green.
So they're getting iron in there without paying for expensive chemical versions, another cost saver.
The big one, yeah.
And the last one, coco coir. You said it improves drainage and water retention. That sounds contradictory.
It does, but it works because of the physical structure. It's fibrous. Think tiny fibers in the little gaps between them. The fibers themselves, the micropores, soak up water like a sponge. That's your retention. But the larger gaps between the fibers, the macropores, let extra water drain away quickly, so you get moisture and air. Prevents root rot. That's why it's so valued.
Makes sense. So garden soil, rice husk for air, red soil for structure and iron, coco coir for water management, a solid, cheap base.
That's the idea.
Now, let's switch gears fully to the money side. Why would a big nursery bother mixing this themselves? Wouldn't it be easier to just buy huge bales of pre-made stuff?
But that's where scale and optimization come in. The absolute core principle is using locally available raw materials. That's how you kill the biggest cost in this whole business.
Which is?
Transportation. Moving bulky, relatively low-value stuff like soil components around costs a fortune.
So the savings aren't just on the price tag of the material itself.
Not at all. That's almost secondary. Think about logistics. Trucking perlite from a distant mine, hugely expensive. Fuel, driver time, wear and tear. But if you can get rice husks from a mill down the road or red soil from a local quarry, bang! Transport costs plummet. Then you can afford to buy in massive bulk, further reducing the per unit cost. It's all about slashing that overhead.
Okay, but wait, if they're using cheap local soil and byproducts, aren't they potentially sacrificing quality? Like, isn't part of the point of expensive mixes that they're sterile and consistent?
That's a really important point, and it comes down to what the nursery needs. They're growing maybe thousands of common plants, often for quick sale, weeks or months.
Quick turnover, yeah.
So they don't need some hyper-specialized, sterile, lab-grade medium. They need something that's good enough, suitable. The source is clear. These local mixes make a great general-purpose potting mix.
So suitable beats perfect if the cost saving is big enough.
Exactly. Any tiny drop in theoretical quality compared to a super premium mix is completely wiped out by the massive cost reduction. It makes business sense.
Can you give us a feel for the scale of that saving, like a concrete example?
Sure. The source mentions a hypothetical owner doing the math. Just switching from shipped-in perlite to local rice husk saved enough on transport costs alone.
Yeah.
Saved enough to hire another full-time seasonal worker each year. That's how direct the link is between these minor material choices and major operational costs, like labor.
Wow. That's significant. Okay, one more thing on the mix itself before we talk about hobbyists. There's a final addition needed, right? Finishing touch.
Yes, absolutely. That base mix we described, it's structurally sound, but not necessarily packed with long-term nutrients. So it's highly recommended to add a slow-release fertilizer.
Oh, okay.
That ensures the plants stay fed and healthy right up until they're sold. It's like an insurance policy for plant quality.
Right. Okay, now let's bring it home to the listener, the hobbyist gardener. If nurseries save so much, should we all be mixing our own soil?
This is where scale really bites you. The economics flip. Mixing your own is really only cheaper for a hobbyist if you are dealing with a huge number of plants. Hundreds, maybe thousands.
Hundreds, really? Why not for someone with, say, 50 houseplants?
Because of the hidden costs for the small-scale person? Think about it. First, where do you store giant bags or bales of soil, coco coir, rice husk? You need space. It needs to be kept dry. These materials might last you years.
Okay, storage is one cost.
Then there's your time and effort mixing it all up.
Right.
And maybe most importantly, consistency. Commercial mixes are tested. They have a guaranteed pH structure. They're usually sterilized. Your homemade mix, it can vary a lot. You might introduce pests or diseases from the garden soil if it's not treated.
So this is the real catch for the average gardener. The source points out that commercial mixes are often really high quality, sometimes even better than a basic homemade one.
And the price difference per pot is actually minimal.
Minimal, right.
Exactly. Factor in your time, storage headaches, the risk of inconsistency. Those few cents you might save per liter, they vanish pretty quickly for most people.
So the DIY approach makes sense for professionals cutting overhead like transport and retail markups on a massive scale.
That's it. It's a volume game. Professionals are optimizing for bulk production cost. Hobbyists are usually better off optimizing for convenience and guaranteed quality unless they're operating at a near nursery scale.
So when we look at that bag of potting mix in the garden center now...
You can decode it. You see rice husk. Okay, that's budget aeration instead of perlite.
Yeah.
See bits of wood fiber. Same idea. A reddish tint. Probably some natural iron in there.
And you know the company likely aimed for good enough performance at the lowest possible cost, probably using local sources.
Precisely. Maximum viable performance for a minimum production cost.
Fantastic. So key takeaways. The four main deducible, cheap ingredients. Garden soil, rice husk, red soil, coco coir, we know their jobs, like rice husk being fake perlite, and the pro strategy. Local sourcing is king for cutting transport costs.
Nailed it. And here's something for you to think about. Given that commercial mixes offer good quality for often a small price difference, the real question for you, the home gardener, is, what's your personal break-even point? How many plants exactly would you need to have before the hassle and upfront cost of buying and storing bulk raw materials actually saves you money compared to the convenience and reliability of just buying a bag?
Factor in your time, your space.
Your time, your space, the initial investment, do that math for your own situation. It might surprise you.
That definitely puts that bag of potting mix in a new light. Thanks for walking us through this deep dive.
My pleasure. Always interesting to unpack the economics behind everyday things.